Now, the Timberwolves made a big-time trade yesterday. They traded for Rudy Gobert. And Tim Connolly, who's now the Wolves' new GM, he traded Rudy Gobert on draft night when he was in Denver. And now, first 2 months on the job, he's trading for him to pair up with Anthony Edwards, D'Lo, and Karl Anthony Towns. Now, they sent Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, and 4 first-round picks for Gobert. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this first. For one, do you think this was way too much to give up for Gobert? And number two, does this put the Timberwolves in contention in the West?
Oh, you're talking about, I thought you meant him. I'm sorry. You wanted to talk
Yes.
You're the one and only OG. Come on.
I actually like this. And the reason why I like this is because what it's going to do is it's going to alleviate a lot of things that Cat had to do. So now my responsibility to rebound, I don't have to do that as much. My responsibility to rim protect, I don't have to do that as much. Now I can concentrate on being more of an offensive threat, being more of a defensive threat on the perimeter, as opposed to I got to do all of these things. Rudy is not going to clog the lane like people think. Think Dirk Nowitzki and Tyson Chandler. Think those two. So,
well, that's a good comparison.
When I think about Cat's game is from the outside in. Cat mid-range gets going. Once his mid-range gets going, now he opens up the offense for everybody else. That's diving to the box. That's getting to the basket. That's getting fouled. So I think that's going to help out with Rudy, because Rudy's a better rim runner now. Now he has a rim runner and a pick and dive guy and a pick and lob guy in Rudy. So I think he's going to help these guys out tremendously. And they were able to hold on to Jaden Smith. I think that's going to be big.
Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels.
I'm sorry, not Jaden Smith. Jalen McDaniels.
Jalen Smith's on the
I think
Pacers.
Minnesota is. I'm looking at their team. Minnesota is a top 6, maybe even a top 5 team in the West right now.
See what's crazy about this, and I'll go because I have similar opinions. When this happened, I thought you were about to be all in, but I guess I should have known better given the fact that you and Rudy, you're just not the hugest fan of Rudy.
No,
Gobert.
I love Rudy Gobert.
But why love?
I love Rudy Gobert. Yes, I love Rudy
You could have
Gobert.
fooled me.
When have I ever been very hypercritical of Rudy?
I'm sorry, Riv.
Yo.
We have a group chat, right?
In the group chat, but on the show?
No, but how about when
What did
we
I
have
tell you? He
conversations
fell
here?
off as a troller. I told you he was trolling.
You were trolling in the group
Yes,
chat.
he was trolling.
No, that was my instant first reaction to it.
My point being is what OG's saying is 100% truth. This trade benefits Karl Anthony Towns the most. But to go through the whole idea of did they give up too much? Rudy Gobert, I saw you tweet that someone said that you hopped into a Spaces and someone said that Rudy Gobert is generational. He's not a generational talent
He is a
in
defender,
totality.
defender,
He's
yeah.
a generational talent defender.
and I left after that.
You're being rude because he probably meant it. He's a generational talent.
Is
on
Ben
the
Wallace a
defensive side of the
generational
ball.
talent?
No. What the hell?
I mean, we're talking. No, I know that's strong, but he's still one of the best defenders in the history
but
of the game.
when he said Rudy, no, because somebody said
I'm talking about Ben Wallace now.
Yeah, when I went into Spaces, I went into a Spaces and they were talking about Rudy Gobert. So I was like, okay, let me go into a random Spaces. Let me see what they're talking about. And somebody was talking about Rudy Gobert, and then the dude said, "Excuse me, sir, Rudy Gobert is a generational talent in NBA history." So I waited a little bit, and they was like, everybody laughed. And he was like, "I'm dead serious," and they was like, "That's what you mean? You mean generation defender?" He said, "No, generational talent," and that's when I left.
That's. Listen, now I understand what you're saying, but is that wrong to say? He's definitely a generational talent on the defensive side of the ball. He's one of the best shot blockers we've ever seen in the game. Everything in sense of defending outside of the perimeter, of course, because that's just where he gets burned 99% of the time. Anything around the rim, he is a 10 out of 10 at. Now, four first-round picks, I can understand where that might seem like a lot. However, when you're a team like Minnesota and you understand, I have this guy, Anthony Edwards, that's going to come take over the league one day. I have Karl Anthony Towns that he is one of the better big men in the NBA. I would say probably a top 4 center right now in the NBA. I want to now where Karl Anthony Towns' strengths are, he's not a true center. He's not the stereotypical center that we've seen throughout history of NBA. He is more of that stretch 5 that now does not have to play that. Now he can transfer over to his role as a power forward, which he has wanted to do for a couple years now. And given the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is arguably the best shooting big in the NBA. I don't even know if I have to say arguable. He has an unbelievable shot for that size. Now it's just going to open up the floor for Karl Anthony Towns. And Karl Anthony Towns, like OG said, is not going to have to do all the scrappy stuff that he's not wanted to do. And we saw it against the Grizzlies where he's not trying to bang down low. Anything defensive-wise, trying to rebound, offensive rebound, that's not Karl Anthony Towns' game. I'll tell you whose game that is. Rudy Gobert's.
I think it is Cat's game. He he just gets tired. When you take on that big of an offensive load, you have to sacrifice some parts of the defensive side of the ball and rebounding.
Which is why it's great now because he doesn't have to sacrifice that anymore because he
Before-
has a guy he can trust.
No, you
Before you
I'll
go,
after
Riv,
you.
first of all, I like the comparison with the Dirk and Tyson Chandler
That was a
one.
great comparison.
Although Dirk is better than Cat, but Gobert is better than Chandler. So it's kind of like a yin-yang thing, but it's a great comparison. What I love about this move is that while the entire league is zigging, the Timberwolves decided to zag. Every team is going small now. We've seen the Celtics make the championship without having a top 5 center, or without having a big front court, or quote-unquote bigger front court. They stretch out the floor. The Warriors just won Kayvon Looney. This is the first time that we've seen in a while that a team is going all in to try and contend with 2 big men starting. We've seen the trend start last year with the Cavaliers this past season, but they didn't make the playoffs, but we know that they're trending upwards. I feel like Tim Connolly sees a good vision, and Rudy Gobert helps out a lot of the deficiencies that Minnesota has. They were 24th in opponents' points per game last year, 13 in defensive rating. They ranked 16th in rebounding, 25th on the defensive glass, and that's ultimately why they lost against Memphis. Had they had somebody that can rebound, they would have won the series, and they were this close to winning the series. They did blow a lot of leads in it, but they could have beat them. My biggest question mark is how are they going to fare against the smaller teams, though? The Clippers are still around. Golden State, Dallas, the Pelicans, now that Zion is coming back.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm so glad you mentioned that. And that's where coaching comes in. And I'm
Yep.
sorry to interrupt you. Keep going. Keep going.
That's where I really have my biggest concerns with the Timberwolves is how they're going to fare against smaller teams, because if the Pelicans decide to go 5 out and play Zion at center, I really don't know what's going to happen in that. It's hard to predict. But that's where I feel like you can stagger the minutes between Cat and Gobert. I hated that they had to involve Patrick Beverley in the deal and Vanderbilt because they were culture setters for the Timberwolves last season. But sometimes you have to give those guys up. Pat Bev was entering his final year of his contract. Vanderbilt offensively is just so limited that bringing in somebody like Gobert, you can't really play Vanderbilt alongside him anyway. So that's why I think it was a good move. Was it a bit too much? Yes, but at the end of the day, to get a guy like Gobert, who's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time All, 3-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, 6-time All-Defensive Team, you have to make a move like this, and it was a good move. Still a lot to be determined.
I'm shocked.
But we have to see.
I'm shocked.
I'm not all in, but I am in.
You seem more optimistic.
Yeah, you do. You
You
Jay.
seem
Yeah,
more
it's not
optimistic now than how you were coming off yesterday.
Yes, because for me, the Patrick Beverley and Vanderbilt, they were the heart and soul of Minnesota last year, that team. And when you lose the heart and soul of your team, sometimes it doesn't always go your way. Rudy Gobert in the past has not gotten along with teammates. How is that going to work out?
Can I ask you this question? Do you think Anthony Edwards' attitude and his approach of the game is going to make it seamless in that transition?
It should.
I feel like it will.
I think Anthony Edwards is he's a leader, a natural born leader.
100%, which is
So
exactly
that's why
I say that.
I'm all in on Anthony Edwards. So that's why I'm all in on Minnesota, because I believe Anthony Edwards is going to be a top 10 player in this league very, very soon. Very soon.
I don't disagree at all. At all.
4 picks, 4 players for Gobert. I looked at the trade. I had to sleep on it because it happened so fast.
It was random out of
I feel
nowhere.
like if they could have kept, because they gave up damn near all their perimeter defense, I feel like they could have kept maybe just one of them, Bev or Vanderbilt, and just one pick. But nonetheless, like you said, they got to do things like that to get a player like that, because Rudy Gobert, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best defenders in the league. A lot of my questions, really, like you said, just comes from if they play the Warriors and you got Draymond at the 4, Looney at the 5, they go small. That's Rudy Gobert in a small ball situation doesn't really help him, And then for me personally, who's Cat going to guard on the other side of the ball if they go small? Like if they play the Clippers, if they run Kawhi at the 4, or if they run somebody like PG at the 4, what's going to happen? Who's Cat going to guard, You lost Vanderbilt. You lost Pat Bev. Those are your guys, your stopper on the perimeter. So now what's going to happen? Anthony Edwards has taken strides as a defender. He wants to be one of the best defenders in the league. D'Lo has also stepped up defensively, but you don't have a stopper per se. Jaden McDaniels can be that. I think he will be that. I don't know if it's going to happen right away like next season, but now what? In their bench, they have to put more guys on the bench, but I think overall, I think Conley made this quote. He said he was tired of something about how he didn't want to go out small ball the best small ball team in the Warriors. He wants to bring back the Twin Towers. So looking at Cleveland, it was successful for them. I know they didn't make the playoffs, but Allen and Mobley got hurt at the end of the year. They would have definitely got in if those two didn't get hurt. But even Boston, they're small, but that's still Al Horford on the perimeter, Rob Will down low. That's a bit of a two big man system. The two big man system works. Yeah, the two big man system definitely works, and I think it can work for Minnesota. My thing is just matchup wise, when they play the small ball teams, how is it going to work for them? That's really my only concern. Offensively, I think they'll be fine. Defensively, it's really just about matchups when it comes to the playoffs. If they play the Warriors, if they play the Clippers, what's legit going to happen? How are they going to do that? And like OG said, that's a coaching thing. Is Chris Finch ready to do that? I don't know, but we'll see.
It can work. Yeah, go OG.
Guys, I can't tell you how much better you could be as a defender when you got a rim protector like Rudy Gobert behind you, how much more aggressive that I can be, how much smarter I can get because I got a guy back there that's going to clean up my mistakes, which means that I expect D'Angelo Russell to be a better defender. I expect Anthony Edwards to be a better defender simply because I got these two guys behind me, particularly Rudy, that's going to clean up anything that I do. Now, when you're talking about a guy in Rudy that's going to have to play in the small ball system, that's where it comes down to coaching. That's the problem that I had with Quinn Snyder, because when you got 5 guys on the floor, that's when Quinn Snyder snatches Rudy off the floor, and he has somebody who can complement that. Because I don't have to just have Rudy on the floor all the time. I can have Rudy on the floor in certain situations, and that's where coaching comes in. Because I can't have Memphis with 5, 6'8" guys on the floor, and then this guy is shooting 22 feet away from the basket. We know Rudy can't guard out there. Mm-hmm. Because Rudy can't guard out there, now I got to get somebody else in here. That doesn't mean that Rudy's a liability. That just means that I can't have him in this situation. You guys are not going to play small ball all night. Add that to the fact that we can punish you when you play small ball, i.e. your Lakers. When Houston tried to play small ball, we went right at Anthony Davis. I think the difference is that Rudy isn't the offensive player that Anthony Davis is, but Cat is. So we can absolutely punish teams who go small ball against us. So that's where coaching comes in. And I expect this team defensively to be better simply because they got that kind of rim protector and shot blocker behind them.